Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to the Future History Project. And this is week 21, part 2. And this week is book 2 of Robot City, and it's called Suspicion by Mike McQuay. Hit the wrong button there. And it's very much like the first one. We left our characters with the first one. They had escaped from the space station, and they wound up via what they believed was perihelion to onto a tower, like a large ziggurat on a planet, and they climbed down the side of it, and they found that there were robots waiting for them, and they find out that they're at the moment the only humans on the planet, and previously there was one, but he was murdered. And they find out at the end we find out at the end of the book that they are suspects. So that we start out exactly at the same place, and they are both Derek and Kate are going to try to uh, prove their innocence, because they say they weren't there when this other David, and just happens to have the same name as the David Derrick. So they learn more about the city. The city sort of grows. The walls. The city is made out of, basically, it's a robot on a small level that it sort of extrudes it grows. My brain won't let me get the word out. It grows, and it is aware of, and it's all set up for humans, but there are no humans there yet. Will there be? Is a question. And the robots have lost the body of this David. What happened was, this David appeared walking out of the forest at some point, and couldn't remember how he got there. Doesn't know how he got there. Somewhat like Derek, and he doesn't have a memory, and he got encased in a room that sort of grew up around him. So the robots had to save him and cut him out. And then he died, and then again the a room sort of enclosed him, and then, because it's moving along, and because at that same time a state of emergency started, and like, building was just going crazy and nonstop, and the computer core is on the move underground, and it's, they and there's weird weather patterns, and there's rain. The raindrops are the size of watermelons, um, and it's threatening to destroy the city. Why there's so much rain is because when they're extracting the metals, and they're mining, they're releasing a lot of water vapor into the atmosphere and heat, and it's causing these things, and it's just getting worse. Uh, Derek's trying to figure this out, and they find out that in the tower there is a human, um, or the original robot that was brought online remembers a human hand turning him on, basically, and that there's a room, an office in the tower, but no other robots know about this. They know there's areas that are not that's forbidden to them to go, and they never have been there. They've created a society for themselves, in a sense. They've been working on, like, a humanics thing, like 3 laws of humans, that humans will not, injure robots, and it's like 3 laws of robotics, and because it seems sensible and logical for them to do that, but they don't realize that humans are not always logical. so it creates some problems, and with David trying to figure things out. But they do. David does go into this room. There's no one there, but he knows that has been a human there not long ago. So there is a human that's overseeing things, and he surmises that they're using the box, like he has the perihelion box to leave, because there's a hatchway up into the roof of the tower. And they actually find the body or Kate finds the body of this David in the room. They cut open the room, and she goes in, and her robot sort of guide, or one of them, flips him over, and he's looks like Derek. So she freaks out. But yeah, so there's the mystery there. But then when they go back, the body is gone, and they figure that the disposal services had taken it, but it's not really said, but that's what they figure. But it doesn't change the fact that he does look exactly the same. So there's a mystery there still. He still doesn't have most of his memory back. Kate, he finds out through the computer when he's in this office that Kate is that's not her real name, that she's someone else, or at least that's what the computer record says. And so he's quite confused now that she's supposed to know some information, so he doesn't know whether he's the David that she had met originally on a layover on a space station, or he's someone else, because that David that she met might be the David that's the body. So, but they do solve things, and because they find out that because the city, the walls and everything are made like it is like a robot, because he encountered this when he made the Alpha robot he called Alpha put together, and he used an arm from one of the robots from the asteroid, and it has all these little like hexagonal like almost nanite sized chips, almost in a sense, that it can morph into any size or shape like that the robot wants for the arm. And that's what the city is made out of, so it can go with any shape. But also, because it's got 3 laws of robotics, it can't hurt the person, so he can run against the wall and bounce off of it, because it'll allow that to happen. But because they cut out a part of the wall to get into the where the body was, and they noticed that there was a cut on the on the deceased David's foot, and there was just a little bit of blood. Derek thinks that maybe the blood has something to do with it, so he purposely cuts himself on the jagged edge of the circular bit that's been cut out of the wall, and he realizes it's sort of dead. But when he does that, it allows him to be cut. But then when the blood gets on, it thinks it's a contagion, an alien contagion. So that's where it went into emergency mode. So, and it starts happening again, and he finds out that the robots unknowingly killed the guy, because by cutting out the wall, it created carbon monoxide, and it was so much of it that it was a bit delayed, and he died a little while later. So they get this all sorted, and they stop the mining and everything, but the rains are still coming, so they need the equipment to dig a channel underground to an underground cavern to release the water. It's a little. It was fun. It was a fun read. Like it's not a complicated story, but there is sort of this mystery to it of of, who is he, and it's got a fast moving story. At least I thought it did. So it was very enjoyable. Again, it's like it does fit in with the Future History Project because they have sort of timed it sort of sometime after a few hundred years, possibly after Robots of Dawn. Uh, but it's not, well, so far, unless something connects it later. But so far, it's sort of like, the Future History Project is going like this, and then this is sort of, a storyline that's off to the side, and it's just a fun story. So it's not really, well, at least so far, I should say, because I don't want to, because Isaac Asimov was overseeing this, so there might be something that's in there that will have bearing on the future history project, not the future project, but the future history that he laid out. So there might be something in there for that. So I'm hoping there is, that it sort of brings it back, and it's just not a sort of dead end story, just a side story. But even though, as a side story, so far it's really good. The third volume, the third book, I think, is called Odyssey. Let me check here because no, Cyborg, and that's written by William F. Wu. William F. Wu wrote the third volume, or the third book, and the sixth book. I've got. I'll be reading the third book on my tablet because I can't access the other one, but I've got volume 4, 5, and 6 in book form, so I'll be reading those, and I'll show those at a later date. But anyway, that's part 2 of week 21 of the Future History Project, and considering as I think I probably already said this in the first part, considering the Robots in Time books, which were so repetitive, this one has some repetition, but it's still fun. It's a fun read, so I'm content with that. So anyway, I'll see you next time, book 2.